Hi, Immanuel. My name is Frank Malfi, and I've been attending Immanuel for almost 3 years now with my wife, Cheryl. And I've been very blessed to have the opportunity to play and worship with an amazing praise team during the entire time that I've been here. My faith story starts with being a very young child. I went to Sunday school at church, but quite honestly, I don't have many memories of those events that happened during my life. I do remember the name of the church. It was St. Paul's Lutheran Church. And for some odd reason, I remember the name of the pastor, Pastor Wehrmeister, probably because my grandfather was on the outs with him, as he would say, and I heard that name mentioned many times when I visited my grandparents. But my family moved a lot during my childhood. And once we moved away from the area of St. Paul's, I guess I was about 8 years old or so, I didn't attend church on any regular basis. In fact, I didn't return to church until 47 years later when I met my beautiful wife, Cheryl. And that's really when my faith journey began. For many years, throughout my previous marriage, I didn't lead a faith-filled life. If someone had asked me if I were a Christian, I probably would have said yes. But the truth of the matter is, I really had no idea what that meant. And uttering the word Jesus was just not in my vocabulary. But it all changed when I met Cheryl, because we quickly realized that we were both in search of the very same faith and truths about God, and we embarked on that search together. And God must have heard my prayers, because in a God-inspired moment, a friend of ours, his name is TK, asked us to join him in attending a service at Jarretttown Church, which just happened to be next door to the school that Cheryl was the principal. And he also invited me to play with the praise band because they, quote, needed a guitar player. And there's a long story about that, because there were 3 of them when I showed up. But what I didn't know is that that was probably the first of many chapters that God planned for me, and for the most part Cheryl as well, that had begun. And over the next 13 years at Jarretttown, I would eventually lead the praise team. Cheryl and I spent countless days planning retreats and participated in many church committees and leadership teams. And quite honestly, I was overwhelmed by the presence of God in my life and learned what it really meant to be a Christian. Jesus, the word Jesus, was no longer a foreign word in my vocabulary. And I was blessed to have some pastors who were instrumental in shepherding me along. And here we are today at Immanuel, digging deeper into our faith more than we've ever done before, and engaging with the church community in ways that are, quite honestly, life-inspiring. And I must admit that I personally struggled with the feelings of guilt for leaving one church for another. I had prayed in earnest for wisdom in making that decision. And I met with Pastor Mark and Pastor Ann, and we talked about that. And I really appreciated their deep insight with me and my interaction with God and where He was putting me in that time. But God demonstrated to me over and over that He had it covered the entire time. I was in the right place, and I just needed to put my faith in Him. And today, yes, I'm still a work in progress, but today, I speak Jesus. Thank you all. Amen and amen.